Hi there. Today I want to talk about how we can hydrate our bodies better. One of the questions that have come up during the week from my clients is they're feeling very dehydrated, they're feeling lackluster, and no matter how much water they drink, it's really difficult to be able to feel like you're hydrated. So today I thought I would cover some of the things of why we're not drinking enough water, the problems associated with drinking enough water, and then of course I'll go into the solutions and the ways that you can hydrate better and get yourself back on track around drinking water. So what I want to do is talk about first is the sort of problems that we have. And one of the problems that we have with not drinking enough water is, first of all, it's toxic. And if we're not flushing our body with good quality water, then what actually happens is a lot of the stuff that we're taking out of our bodies, whether we're eating it, whether we're breathing it in, we are not able to actually eradicate it from our bodies very well if we're not keeping hydrated. So that is really important. First, and from a health point of view, is making sure that we get that quality of water. Another one is this poor mental and physical performance. If you are 2% dehydrated, it leads to 10% decrease in your performance, no matter what you do. So whether you're trying to study or whether you're playing a sport, if you are 2% dehydrated, then it will lead to a drop in your performance. If you're 3% dehydrated, that's the dryness in your mouth. So if you do have dryness during any time, then look, make sure you have a little bit of water. The other one is joint pain and muscle pain. One thing that people don't realize is that all of our joints in our body are buoyant through hydration. So if our joints are not getting enough water, then what actually happens is our disc starts to flatten. Also, muscles require more water to move. So if you're not getting enough water, muscles get really tight and stiff, and you run the risk of tearing those muscles as well if you are playing any sport or doing something quite easily. I tore my calf a few years ago when I was very, very dehydrated, and I've never made that mistake again. Another one is weight gain and obesity. So why does water affect or being dehydrated affect your weight? Well, consider that we have two mechanisms in our body that tells us whether we're thirsty or whether we're hungry. They're on the same level. So if you're not getting enough water into you, your body might be saying to you, "Oh, I'm actually just hungry," whereas you might be actually thirsty. So a good way, and I'll give you another tip shortly, a good way of being able to know that is by just having 2 big glasses of water and waiting 10 minutes and see whether that disappears. Another one is with weight gain is that rather than drinking water, we tend to go towards substitutes like electrolyte drinks or energy drinks or sodas, alcohol, fruit juices, things like this, which are very high in sugar content and also very high in calories as well. And it doesn't help you at all when you go towards weight loss. And I mean, you can talk to any nutritionist and they'll tell you that, drinking too much soft drink will make you fat. And one of the things that with, caloric drinks is that it absorbs faster into our body, ready to be used as energy. And if you're not doing that, like you're sitting at the desk all day and you're drinking these energy drinks, or you're drinking these electrolyte drinks or sodas and so forth, all you're doing is adding to the caloric count at the end of the day. And the other thing that I just want you to be aware of is like, if you're not drinking enough water, it's poor digestion. Our stomach relies on having hydrochloric acid in it to be able to digest. And hydrochloric acid comes around because when we put water into our stomachs. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips of how to actually increase your hydrochloric acid in your stomachs naturally, so that way you digest your food better every meal that you have. And then the last one is like I said, with poor digestion is that it actually restricts the amount or the ability to go for a bowel movement. and what you'll notice is that if you're dehydrated, you'll actually poop pellets or be constipated. So if you are constipated or if you're pooping pellets, then consider that you are dehydrated and you need to get yourself hydrated. But why do we not drink enough water? I mean, we know a lot of these things, and I think a big part of it is because we just don't like the flavor of water, and we're not really aware of the value of water. And so when we don't know the value of water, we don't really like it. It's sort of like saying to a kid, hey, look, you're going to eat your Brussels sprouts because it's good for you. And that's all you're giving them. So, you've got to get really flat when it comes to hydration is how much water you're drinking and why you are drinking this. And all of those things that I pointed to before, those problems, are the things that will motivate you to be able to drink more water in the day. So, with that is that, we've got to be wary of making sure that we are drinking enough water at certain times of the day. And let's start at the beginning of the day, shall we? So the beginning of the day, we should be having about 1 to 2 glasses every morning before we start the day. And that generally is anywhere between 400 and 800 mils of water per day. I do that daily. I start with a glass of water beside my bed, and then after I've drunk that glass, then I go to the fountain, fill it up again, and if I feel like I can have that second glass, I'll have it then. Otherwise, I'll just have it after my shower. The other one is that you cannot just drink the required amount of water that you need today, and then think, okay, that's great, I'm topped up. It does take time to build up that reservoir. So you're going to have to build this up over time. And I always say, set like a 30-day goal of being able to drink as close to how much water that you should be drinking a day. Now, how much water should you be drinking? Well, there is a formula. And if you are dealing with pounds, it's half your body weight in ounces a day. If you're dealing with kilos, you times your kilo weight by 0.03. So for example, I'm 75 kilos, and when I times it by 3, I end up with 2.25 liters of water a day. And that's how I know how much water I should be drinking in a day. And like I said, I'm already drinking 800 mils first thing in the morning, and now it's about just topping that up during the day. Now, I do find during the day the hardest to be able to do that because we sort of get it caught up in, what we're doing. We don't normally have a glass of water or a bottle of water on our desks. When we're traveling, it's usually the last thing that we take out of the house. We'll take a snack instead of taking water with us to be able to travel on the way around. So making sure that we are being prepared to drink water, and that's a great way of being able to overcome that. The other thing is when should you be drinking water? And like I said, the first thing in the morning is great. The second one is 20 to 30 minutes before your meal, so that way it goes through your stomach, it goes through the stomach lining, it lubricates up your large intestine, so that way you can have a bowel movement, and then of course it filters back into your stomach as hydrochloric acid, and so that way you can digest food a lot better. Now, what sort of quality of the water that you should be drinking? Because, we have in Hong Kong, we have distilled water, we have mineralized water, we have mineral water from all sorts of sources, and then of course we've got filtered and tap water. So, what should we be doing? Well, the thing is like, even though I know that the quality of water in Hong Kong when it comes out of the actual the water plants is great, the only problem is that when it gets into our pipes are quite old, and depending on what sort of building you live in, I would be very wary of being able to drink the water from the tap. So that's the worst kind of water that you take. The second one is filtered water, and generally because it'll filter out a lot of those impurities that you have in your water, and you could put a pinch of sea salt. And some would actually argue it would be better to have that in your diet because, of course, it's less on your environmental footprint. The next one above is I would look at mineralized water. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So the other one that I mentioned before is distilled water. Distilled water is probably the worst one you should have. I forgot that, and that's pretty much the one we have. You know, the ones with Watson's light green. You'll also see them with what are the other waters you have? Oh, there's lots. But basically, distilled water is dead water. It doesn't have any minerals in it at all. So you want to make sure that you're getting minerals into your body. And of course, that's why we have mineral water, mineralized water, and filtered water with a pinch of sea salt. So where were we? So we were up to like the water, up to mineralized water. I'm just, with mineralized water, it's pretty new. And what they actually do is they actually add sea salt to the water. Now, here's the thing though, it's not pure sea salt, okay? So we've got to be really careful of having mineralized water. The best one, of course, is mineral water. The only thing is with when you have things that are in bottles, like the mineral water, is that, especially the ones that you buy in the supermarkets, they're really thin plastic and they actually leach into our water. So we're actually taking in small micro plastics into our body, and depending on how they've actually, how that water's traveled to you, that will determine of how, how contaminated with that water is with plastic. So with that is that the next one above, obviously that one is drinking from glass, and you'll find those bottles in the supermarket, but the problem is that they are very expensive. So, treat them within, what your budget is, what you're able to actually afford. But, filtered water with a pinch of sea salt is fantastic. And, we do that all the time. We drink Australian spring water at home, and that's amazing. You can get that in Hong Kong and you can get it shipped to your door. But it is up the end of being expensive. Not too bad, but it's reasonable. But if I'm trying to save some money, then, I'll go the filtered water and I'll put a pinch of sea salt. One of the things that I wanted to show you though, is this stuff here is Restore. This will also be able to lift the hydration concentration in your body. The thing is with Restore is it has electrolytes in it. It has sea salts in it, but it has also a substance in it which is from plants, chlorophyll, that allows our bodies to digest and absorb this better than just normal tap water. Another way you can also do to increase the flavor of the water is like putting mint in there, or lemon in there, or lime in there, so that way it just changes the the flavor of it, and it becomes a little bit more palatable for those people who don't really like drinking water. So like I said, the last one, worst one I want to speak about is how you should drink water. And that's one thing that I just want to sort of demonstrate with you now. So what you'll do is you'll get some water, you'll have it a mouthful. You rinse it around your mouth, touch every part of your mouth, and then swallow it. And you'll notice the difference. You'll feel that your mouth is already starting to hydrate. And what I call it's called eating your water. So, and then swallow. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope you got something from the video, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. So have a good one.